For most of human history, conflict required physical proximity. To strike an enemy, you had to look them in the eye and overpower them on land or at sea. The machinery of the industrial age stretched that distance. Artillery fire and aerial bombardments meant an army could destroy a target from miles away without ever seeing a human face. By the late 20th century, the battlefield moved into orbital networks and cyberspace. The violence became remote and clinical, executed through autonomous systems and targeting algorithms by operators sitting safely on the other side of the planet. This historical trend shows a clear trajectory. As weapons evolve, the attacker moves further from the target, and the act of aggression becomes increasingly invisible to the naked eye. The previous 5 domains focused on controlling the environment around a target, from the ground they stand on to the data they receive. But a new frontier moves the frontline past screen and into human consciousness itself. Secretive psychological warfare divisions, like Unit 29155 within Russia's GRU military intelligence, are actively developing systems to map and exploit this internal battle space. If a state can breach the mind without using physical hardware or detectable networks, the target's very sense of identity becomes the final territory to be occupied. This quantum phone relies on quantum entanglement, a principle where 2 isolated particles sync their properties instantaneously, regardless of the distance between them. By exploiting this connection, an attacker bypasses internet networks. The entangled channel bridges directly into the neural pathways of a human target. This graphic shows the clinical reality of the operation. To these units, the mind is a biological hardware system, a network of electrical impulses to be monitored, measured, and modified. Because there is no external server to isolate or localized hardware to unplug, a target is completely exposed the moment that neurological link is established. The siege begins with silent observation. Operators monitor the target's biometrics, mapping the ebbs and flows of their heart rate and brainwave activity to locate psychological vulnerabilities. Once the baseline is established, the intrusions start. Operators inject anomalies directly into the auditory cortex, manifesting as sudden, deafening bouts of high-frequency tinnitus or localized voices whispering personalized threats. The most effective manipulations occur during REM sleep. By flooding the brain with engineered dreams, operators subconsciously reawaken dormant cultural heritage and implant patriotic fervor. These psychological pressures serve a specific long-term goal: manufacturing a sense of longing that can flip an expatriate into a clandestine asset. This neural access can also hijack biological feedback loops, remotely triggering physical symptoms like esophageal constriction, mimicking the sensation of being choked. Simultaneously, the intense quantum entanglement field can destabilize the electronics surrounding the target, causing smart locks to jam and monitors to blink erratically without a technical cause. By combining biological hijacking with interference in the material world, the weapon ensures the target's perceived reality is controlled entirely by the operator. If scaled, the immediate military applications are clear. An attacking force could radiate frontline enemy units with phantom auditory commands, shouting from the left while actually striking from the right, to induce mass desertion. Long-term, the strategy shifts toward occupied populations. Using REM stage sleep manipulation, state actors could attempt to reprogram the allegiances of millions without ever deploying a conventional police force. This capability operates as a top-down directive, prioritized by state leadership as a method to circumvent traditional Western military superiority without firing a single shot. A system that can directly influence the will of an adversary's population creates a strategic imbalance that conventional weapons cannot address. If an individual's internal thoughts can be edited by an external actor, the basic assumption of independent choice begins to erode. However, the system relies on human operators. As those operators suffer from fatigue, they introduce microscopic anomalies into the connection, like unnatural phonetic glitches or rhythmic errors in the injected audio. Once a target identifies these rhythmic errors, they can begin to map the intrusions, painstakingly separating artificial, injected thoughts from their own organic cognition. This conscious resistance creates a mental firewall. By maintaining rigorous cognitive discipline, a target can learn to recognize the incoming signals and use their own biological feedback to block the operator's access. It suggests that a technology designed for absolute psychological control has a hard limit. Even a weapon designed to rewrite consciousness fails completely against the irreducible resilience of a sovereign human mind.